Charlene of Monaco, the enigmatic and often misunderstood princess of the Mediterranean Principality, has shattered the long-standing silence that cloaked the palace in mystery. In an extraordinary moment that rocked the foundation of Monaco's glossy image, she has stepped into the spotlight, not in the shadow of her husband, Prince Albert, but in her own voice, her own power, and with an emotional storm behind her eyes that speaks volumes more than press releases and diplomatic smiles ever could. The truth she has now decided to reveal sends tremors not just through the red carpet corridors of the Grimaldi Palace, but through the hearts of a global public who have long wondered, what is really going on behind those closed royal doors? For years, royal watchers have speculated. Whispers of unhappiness, sightings of Princess Charlene looking visibly distressed at official events, her prolonged absences from Monaco due to mysterious health complications, and that now iconic photograph where her expression seemed to betray something deeper than just a fleeting moment of discomfort. All of it had raised the same haunting question: was the princess truly living a fairy tale, or was she trapped in a gilded cage? Now, the answer has emerged, not from tabloids or anonymous palace insiders, but from Charlene herself. Her voice, once muted behind protocol, now cuts through the silence like a bell. Calm but firm, poised yet visibly pained, the South African-born former Olympic swimmer didn't just speak her truth, she carved it into the marble walls of Monaco's carefully constructed image. Her revelations begin not with accusations but with raw honesty. She painted a picture of a woman who fell in love, not with a title or a crown, but with a man who, in the early days, showed her warmth and attention away from cameras. But as time passed, that warmth was chilled by layers of expectation, scrutiny, and what she describes as the invisible contract that binds royal women to duty above desire, performance above passion, and silence above truth. Charlene admits that adapting to life in Monaco was far harder than she ever imagined. Coming from a relatively free and athletic lifestyle in South Africa, she found the sudden spotlight of the Monegasque court to be blinding. While others praised her elegance and poise, inside, she was unraveling. She said the pressure to smile when she felt like crying, to attend events when she longed for solitude, and to represent a monarchy while privately questioning her own identity, pushed her to the brink. She confirms what many had long suspected but no one dared speak aloud: her physical health breakdown, which led her to be hospitalized in South Africa for months, was not just about sinus complications. It was, she reveals, a manifestation of the immense emotional strain she had endured for over a decade. "I didn't leave Monaco," she said poignantly. "My body left because my spirit had already left a long time before." And then came the revelations about her relationship with Prince Albert, some tender, some deeply troubling. Charlene doesn't lash out with venom. Rather, she dissects with a surgeon's precision the gradual erosion of a connection that once felt real. She speaks of moments of deep loneliness within the palace despite being surrounded by staff and cameras. She confesses to feeling like a ghost in her own life, floating through events where everything was orchestrated except her own emotions. Regarding Prince Albert, she is both respectful and revealing. She does not deny that he cared for her, especially during her health crises, but she also makes it clear that caring is not the same as understanding. Sometimes, she says, two people can live in the same house and still be in different worlds. She points to fundamental differences in how they view privacy, duty, and freedom. While Albert was raised to uphold royal traditions without question, Charlene, though respectful of heritage, had never imagined sacrificing her autonomy to such an extent. What truly gripped listeners, however, was Charlene's candid confession about motherhood. Her twin children, Princess Gabriella and Prince Jacques, are her greatest treasures, but also her greatest source of internal conflict. She admitted the pain of not being able to be fully present during critical years of their growth because she was in and out of medical facilities. She recalls missing their milestones, watching videos of them taking first steps while hooked up to IVs, crying quietly where no nurse could see. "A part of me will always feel like I failed them," she said, tears welling up. "But I also know that I had to save myself to be there for them in the future." Her voice, cracking just slightly, grows steadier as she speaks of her decision to return to Monaco not because she was ready, but because she had no choice. The palace needed her to reappear, to restore the optics of unity, and though she complied, she admits feeling like an actress reading lines written by others. "Sometimes, I'd look at myself in the mirror before an event and think, Who is this woman in the diamonds and velvet? Because she is not me. The truth Charlene reveals is not just about marital strain or royal pressures, it is a universal story of a woman fighting to reclaim her voice in a world that expected her silence. Her interview is not merely a tell-all. It is a declaration of survival, of the quiet battle so many women fight behind perfect appearances. She speaks of therapy, of long nights awake, of leaning on friends who knew her before the palace, and of slowly learning that self-worth cannot be inherited, it must be rediscovered. She also addresses the rumors, some outlandish, some disturbingly close to the bone. No, she says, she was never held captive in the palace. But yes, she often felt emotionally imprisoned by expectations that left no room for dissent. No, she never planned to permanently abandon her children or husband. But yes, she needed distance to heal, and that healing continues, every single day. When asked whether divorce is on the table, Charlene doesn't offer a direct answer. Instead, she speaks of living separately within the same framework, of redefining what partnership means in a monarchy where appearances reign supreme. She hints that love evolves, that sometimes staying together is less about romance and more about responsibility, about shared history and joint dedication to their children's future. What this interview has triggered is a global reevaluation of how we view royals, not as mythical icons frozen in perfection, but as human beings tethered to pain, decisions, and the complex messiness of real life. Charlene's decision to speak is already causing ripples across other European courts, with whispers that her courage may encourage other royal consorts to reveal their own hidden battles. Social media is ablaze with reactions. Some viewers express sympathy, calling her brave and strong for finally breaking free from the suffocating silence. Others wonder aloud whether the palace will retaliate by muting her again. Still others are angry that a woman had to break nearly to the point of disappearance before the world finally heard her cries. And through all of it, Charlene remains composed. Not immune to the storm, but finally in control of her narrative. She ends her statement with a quiet but powerful line that will echo far beyond Monaco's glittering shores: "I'm not asking for pity. I'm asking to be seen." In a world where image often overshadows truth, Princess Charlene has done something truly revolutionary. She's reminded us that behind every tiara, behind every perfect smile, is a story that deserves to be told not by the press, but by the person living it. Now that Princess Charlene has spoken, not in whispers but in truth, we are left with one monumental question. In a monarchy built on tradition and control, will the truth finally set her free, or will it come at a royal price she has yet to pay?